Welcome. I put a typo in the damn. Ah. Welcome to Three Con Commentaries. I got a typo in the title. I will be fixing it soon. Um, we're going to talk today about quite a few things. One of them being that the John Cena heel turn is being ruined by Dorks. Basically, all these people are crying about this Travis Scott thing. Please stop being weird about that. Please stop being weird. Please stop being dorks. You got to realize the business that you're watching here, the people, what you're supposed to be doing. I want to discuss that. And then there might be some other things I get into, but I want to spend a lot of time on this because I didn't do a video on the Travis Scott strike on Cody Rhodes, the sort of punch to the ear and to the head. So let's talk about it. Almost immediately after the show, after the Travis Scott heel turn, well, the punch or that Travis Scott gave Cody Rhodes, Meltzer put in the world that Cody was injured by this, ruptured his eardrum. Then immediately, a lot of people started really being upset about Travis Scott hitting Cody Rhodes. He hit him too hard, they said. He was doing too much. He doesn't know what he's doing, which we all know is true. He doesn't know what he's doing. But here's the thing, man. Cody Rhodes is a big boy. Cody Rhodes is almost 40 years old, man. He can handle himself. More importantly, do you want people thinking that Cody is a wuss that can't take a punch from a goddamn rapper or not? Because if you're gonna be, well, Cody could have gotten hurt. He's a fucking rapper. If John Cena was punching him in the head with a solid gold watch and then hit him in the head with a belt, and that didn't rupture his eardrum or give him a black eye, but Travis Scott's one punch did, you've exposed the business. Why are we even watching this shit? Why even participate? Why? You got to think about these things. You put all this heat on, oh, Travis Scott did it. Man, I would do anything in the world to put that heat on John Cena. This is what I mean by a lot of people are, I get it. Some people are concerned because they don't like the idea of non-wrestlers being involved. Non-wrestlers don't know what they're doing. It was an unnecessary and heavy-handed strike. But John Cena pummeled Cody. He hit him 1,000 times with 100 different things. And people are like, Cody got hurt because Travis Scott hit him. Not all this shit that John Cena did. This one thing that Travis Scott did hurt Cody Rhodes. Oh my God, man. Y'all have no idea how much I make this business look. When Meltzer put that out there, I instantaneously thought to myself, I'm thinking Meltzer is just kind of spoiling the fun because he wasn't there to see it. He didn't see it live. He had to watch it on replay. And everybody saw the strike and saw it was kind of stiff. But Cody's taken stiff punches and stiff strikes and stuff before and walked away just fine. Cody has worked injured before and walked away just fine. We have to stop pampering guys, man. You know? Um, should he have even been in that situation? No. But now that he is, you have to know that he doesn't know how to work. And Cody knows that, and Rock knows that, and Cena knows that. And that's another thing that's very weird. You got three top faces in the ring. You know, The Rock was a top face for parts of the Attitude Era. John Cena, of course, was, an institution. And then Cody Rhodes is the modern day. Out of these three guys, all of whom know what they're doing, Travis Scott's the only one who doesn't, right? Now, you could say, well, this is kind of The Rock's fault because Travis Scott told The Rock he was going to do something, and The Rock said, well, you might as well make it count. Make it count. Which is a mistake because the guy doesn't know what he's doing, right? But at the same time, the last thing I would want floating in the ether is that all of this shit is a work. All of this is stupid. It's all fake. It's all phony. It's all bullshit because Travis Scott, in 1 second, injured Cody Rhodes and John Cena didn't do anything. He didn't hurt him at all because he's a complete and total professional. That's the wrong narrative to be floating around in the world. Absolutely the wrong. Even if Cody is legitimately hurt, the heat should go on John Cena, not Travis Scott. Bottom line, the heat should go on John Cena. He hurt Cody. He gave him a black eye. He busted his eardrum, not Travis Scott. Even if, it's kind of it's stupid. Look, everybody saw that, but nobody looks at the doctor's reports or anything like that. Nobody knows how bad Cody might have been injured. And who knows, he might not even been injured at all about the strike. It might have just been Meltzer, who, you know how he thinks he's a doctor, a lawyer, journalist, novelist, comic book writer, or whatever else. And he podcasts through a cell phone, through a landline phone. And you guys take this person said seriously. Get real, man. So here's the thing. I get that you shouldn't put Travis Scott in that situation. I agree. And I think that Roddy Piper had the best, mentality when it comes to working with non-wrestlers. Get a hold of them, get control of them, because they don't know what they're doing. They don't do this professionally. So when a wrestler is going to take a punch, a clothesline, a drop kick, a power bomb, a power slam, or whatever from a non-wrestler, he has to prepare for it to not be perfect. Okay? Like we watched, Snoop Dogg throw clotheslines or whatever. They were shitty. They probably hit somebody in the chin or something. That's just the nature of the business. These guys are not trained wrestlers, man. I think putting all that heat on Travis Scott is kind of some bullshit. Everybody knows he don't know what he's doing. Now it's come out that he's been training, that he's gonna probably do something at WrestleMania, something physical. Well, he's gonna get a receipt if he actually did hit Cody. So Cody's probably gonna deck him a little bit, not too hard, not gonna kill him or anything. He's gonna give him something just to initiate him into WWE. But this is the same company. Just let Logan Paul do whatever he wants. Let Bad Bunny do whatever he wants. And we're concerned about Travis Scott hitting Cody one time. There's 30-minute videos about this stuff. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Has nobody ever seen a stiff shot before? I watched Vader throw goddamn full rounds at Mick Foley's head. like, let's get real about this. We watched Bart Gunn get flattened at WrestleMania. What was that, 15? Let's ease up, because he got one free strike in on Cody. It was kind of hard. Then he's okay, right? Because I'm almost certain, unless Cody Rhodes legitimately has a broken neck, he's going to be at WrestleMania. And any injury that he's going to stand up and say, and if they were smart, they would say that Cody got a ruptured eardrum and a black eye and all that kind of stuff. If they were smart, they would just take whatever Meltzer says and then use it in the storyline. But everybody is jumping up and down, screaming and crying because Travis Scott hurt Cody. Are you stupid? Then what the hell did John Cena do all this stuff for? So you can put all the heat on Travis Scott. What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Like, no. Yes, we saw the punch. It was a pretty brutal punch, but he didn't know what he was doing, man. It is what it is. It's their fault for letting them do it, if anything. They should have told him don't touch him or just hold him down or something. But he got a little overzealous. It's okay. Cody is a tough guy. He's wrestled with a torn pec. He's wrestled through injury before. He's been shoot punched before. He's worked with stiff guys before. He'll be fine. All right. Everybody can stop babying him. And then in any event, it's got over 40 days before WrestleMania. He'll be fine. Okay. Conrad Thompson recently came out, said he was texting with Cody about this. He says, quote, I checked on Cody and I was like, dude, I saw it. But a burst eardrum? Are you okay? Holy shit. Cody replied, didn't touch me. I got a wild bruise somehow, though. He sent me a picture. I said, well, damn. I'm glad you're okay. Mostly. He said the Horseman got me. And he said, I thought it was funny that Cody even now was like, he didn't touch me. Now, of course, we know that that isn't the case. He's sporting a major black eye right now. I don't know if it's true or not that he burst his eardrum, but buddy, it was a brutal blow we saw there. Yes, it was a free punch, but let's get real. I don't think a one punch could bust Cody's eardrum. I mean, this this is so silly. Oh, this is so bad. I feel I was in a vortex for days behind this 'cause I didn't know what I was sitting. I watched all these people talk about it, but the Stevie Richards thing, I didn't even watch the whole video. I just saw the thumbnail. It was like, oh, we're doing too much. There's way too many people talking about Travis Scott right now. After the thuggery that we just saw John Cena perpetrate, all the conversation is about Travis Scott's one punch. I'm like, man, y'all have no idea how bad y'all look, how bad y'all make the business look. When y'all are like, oh, John Cena threw 100 free punches at Cody's head, didn't do nothing. Hit him in the head with the belt, didn't do nothing. It was that one random strike from Travis Scott that did it. Like, no, man, it's okay. You know, um, it was a nasty shot though. I wouldn't want that shot, but it's okay. V3320 say I saw the Stevie Richards show too, calling him an asshole. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he doesn't know what he's doing. So of course he's gonna hurt somebody. He doesn't know what he's doing, and it got him doing stuff. You know. So Meltzer has poisoned the well a bit. You got to work with it. You got to work around it. You said Mickey Rourke at WrestleMania 21. Was it 21? I think it was a later one. But we've seen like Cody and some, not Cody. Yeah, Cody, because Cody worked with that the actor Stephen Amell. We've seen Mr. T. We've seen Lawrence Taylor. We've seen a bunch of celebrities get in the ring and try it. And all of them are stiff because they don't know what they're doing. Their training is minimal, right? So I'm not going to put the blame on the guy who don't know what he's doing. You know. Now I will say this: Travis Scott was drinking and smoking in the ring. That should not. That should not happen. That's the one element where I see people complaining. I'm like, okay, that's true. When he's drinking and smoking and everything, don't let him touch anybody. Because even if he is sort of trained and he kind of has an idea that he's not supposed to lay it in fully, if he's drunk, he might not have full control over his faculties. If he's high, he might not have full control over his faculties. But I don't get it. You know, put the heat on John, man. Don't put the heat on Travis Scott. My God, what are you thinking? You know. But Travis Scott's gonna take a bump or something like that, probably get put through a table or something silly like that at WrestleMania, and he's gonna learn. One way or the other, he's gonna get a lesson about this whole thing. Yeah, it's just the nature of the business, like Liam Hutton said. I mean, it's the business. They don't know what they're doing. So of course, this is gonna be this way. Liam Hutton says if we were being real, China was in the same spot when she started. Damn near decapitated Mick Foley with a cage door. Shit happens. Yeah, especially when people are green, you always put your life in their hands when you're green. You know, typically when you have a celebrity or something like that, you give them a free shot. You just accept that something bad's going to happen. When you work with celebrities, you could either there's a pretty good chance you're going to hurt them or they're going to hurt you, one or the other. All right. That's like when Richard Belzer got put in a chokehold by Hulk Hogan, he ended up getting choked out. It happens. You know, this is how it works. I think we need to all put this into context and relax. All the talk about Travis Scott, just relax. You know, let's relax a little bit. We don't need to spend all week being mad at Travis Scott because he screwed up a punch. Everybody's screwed up a punch, you know. And I didn't see Cody crying about it because he knows that, it's okay. But he's going to hit him with something at WrestleMania. He's probably going to tell him it's coming too, but he's going to get it. And then it's kind of weird because I Show Speed took one of the biggest, most vicious spears of all time at the Royal Rumble. Nobody felt bad for him. Like when he got trucked at the Royal, nobody felt bad for I Show Speed. Nobody was like, "Oh man, damn, Braun, why did you do that?" Everybody was like, "Yep, that's the business. The boys should lay it in." Okay, I agree with that. Like don't go out there and pity pat with the fucking guy. If he's gonna get in the ring, hit him, nail him. Not saying go out there and hurt him, but make him feel it. Make him think twice about volunteering to do it again. And now everybody's like, "No, you can't hurt my boys. Don't put your hands all over my boys. Stop it. Stop this. Cut this shit out." The more real it looks, the better. That's what we want. We want it to look real. We want it to look legit. We want it to be stiff. Stiff but safe. The problem with that is that it wasn't entirely safe because the guy was fucking probably drunk and high or whatever. But that's the part I would probably take to Triple H and be like, he can't be drinking and smoking. Like if he's gonna be throwing wild punches or whatever, I mean, we got to protect ourselves, okay. But he can't be under the influence. I mean, he got to be clean. Outside of that, if you leave yourself wide open and you get popped by Travis Scott, that's on you. I'm sorry, that's on you, fam. This whole thing was set up to make Cody look sympathetic, and I think it did a good job. But again, the real life heat went on the wrong person. We gotta chill with that. That's all I'm saying. So hopefully, I want to see Travis Scott do a little bit more though, because I want to see him get a receipt. So we'll see. So Brian Solomon, he said, so the company's top babyface and champion sustained a bruised face and a busted eardrum from a hard way slap by a celebrity who had no business being in the ring and was more than likely under the influence at the time. Keep this guy as far away from the ring as possible. He can be involved with the show. He can do his bizarre incense rituals from the stage if he wants. Just do not involve him in any physicality with professionals. No reason for it. Not everyone is Bad Bunny or Logan Paul. Now, generally, I agree with this. But if he wasn't smartened up, and I'm by smartened up, he has to know it's a work. What I'm saying is, by smartened up, he was not taught how to throw a punch. That's the fault of the people who told him he could throw a punch. That's their fault. And The Rock knew he was going to do it. So at this point, The Rock is the senior in the ring. He's the oldest man in the ring, had the longest career, and he was the one who knew Travis Scott was going to throw the punch. So if The Rock would have told him, maybe not this time, maybe next time, or make sure he can protect himself or something, show them, or even just let Cody know it was going to happen. We don't know. Then I put the blame on The Rock. He's the ring general in that situation. I'm not putting the blame on Travis Scott. You don't know what the fuck he's doing. Okay, so no, I'm not blaming him. But I also don't think that we should be, I just don't like the idea of putting all this on this guy, man, because it makes the business look so weak. You got John Cena out there trying very, very hard, and we putting all this heat on Travis Scott. I mean, this just getting ridiculous, man. Stop it. Cut it out. AJ3 says, ever since the Lawler slapped Andy Kaufman, it's been a celebrity infection nonstop and televised wrestling for all the ratings. Well, that much is true. And it's left the boys up to taking free punches, clotheslines, kicks, or whatever from celebrities. And yes, they could possibly get hurt. But you're supposed to be tough. I don't think a single slap, punch, or clothesline is supposed to end your career. As long as they're not doing anything complicated, like I wouldn't let Travis Scott give Cody a pile driver. You know, maybe nothing like that. He wants to throw a punch here and there. Okay, go for it. Cody's got to protect himself, cover up, or counter it. You know, if he gets too out of control, take him down. He's got a collegiate background. Take him down, squash it, whatever. But if it's just one strike, so what, man? Like you got to be able to survive one strike. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I'm not about to baby these goddamn wrestlers. Come on, bro. Like we got some serious business to attend to here. If we're gonna be talking about guys getting hurt, then we need to be talking about other things, you know, where professionals hurt each other rather than, you know, guys who don't know what the hell they're doing getting a little overzealous. But I wouldn't want this in the universe because it seems silly to me, you know. Najee Savage says, "What's up? I can't believe The Rock has people believing he planned this all from the start." There's a certain element of it that's obviously planned from the front, you know, because of John Cena's story. There's a certain element of it that was planned, but I think that part of it was also kind of serendipitous, that it kind of fell in their lap. I mean, that's almost how all things work. There's a certain element of planning, and then there's a certain element of luck. You know, the only good one here says the Cody Stan guys want Cody to freaking beat heel Cena at Mania and help turn him back face. After Cena broke the world global, no wonder ratings go down and why Vince didn't listen to us. I saw an interesting story there about Cena losing and then going back babyface. I do, I can see that, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. That doesn't make sense. You know, you don't sacrifice something like this and then just go back on it. Whoopsie, putting it back in the jar. Nah, you got to go ahead and cash on in with it. You know, it's Liam Hutton says looking back to Snoop's stiff as fuck people's elbow on the Miz is a funny comparison. Since no one gave a fuck since it was on the Miz, right? Just like Mickey Rourke punched Chris Jericho in the face. You know, I mean these things happen. Jericho punched Shawn Michaels' wife in the face. You know, like she legit had like a busted lip or something like that. So I get it. You know, these things happen. People get hurt. People get hurt. Liam Hutton says again, no way this can play into this injury storyline wise. If Cody can't take a smack of a 120-pound rapper, then he has no business holding the belt. Never mind being put over by Brock, Rock, Roman. Yeah, I agree. That's my entire point here. You want people to believe that Cody Rhodes is a tough guy who can fight Brock Lesnar and John Cena and The Rock and CM Punk. But then here comes Travis Scott and whoop, one punch. Oh, my fifis in my head. Oh, it was so bad. It hurt so bad. Okay, just pack it up then. Just pack this shit up and end it. You know, this is let's give this up. All right, let's just stop it at this point. Crossface Ray says Triple H is a pussy. There is no reason for Io Sky to be champion other than internet nerds complaining. No, the other reason is because he loves her so much. Society Review says the dumbest thing WWE can do right now with the attention is to have Cena lose clean at WrestleMania. Well, losing period is a mistake. That's one of the dumbest things you could possibly do. You might as well go ahead and cash this thing in. The storyline that I saw pitched was for Cena basically to realize that it wasn't worth it, that going to this extent. But he can do that in fucking October. You don't have to do it now. You know, like once you've already decided that this is the direction you're going to go in, you're going to have to go. I mean, you can't stutter step, you can't backslide. You got to go with it. Commit to it, full stop. Cena has to win, and it doesn't matter if he doesn't win clean. He just has to win. Now, I don't want it to be like last year's WrestleMania where there's 100 fucking guys running in the ring. I don't want that because I don't think Cena needs that. But he needs to win the match. He needs to cheat. Clearly, he needs to cheat, but he needs to win, and you need to give him the belt until I would have him lose it right before his last match, and then maybe turn him babyface right at the tail end. So have him be the champion from April to October or something like that, and then he drops the belt. Let's say October, November, maybe at Survivor Series he drops the belt, and then from that point forward you turn him babyface again. That might be your best option, where you just do a 6 month John Cena storyline. If I don't see any reason why it would burn out if you do the right thing and you book it correctly. You might even be able to have him be heel until the very last night, and then maybe he turns babyface at the end. There's a way where you could do like a dream sequence where it might be, it's kind of a cop out, but if you do a John Cena dream sequence, and what I mean by that is Cena loses the belt to Cody at Survivor Series or whatever. He gets on the microphone and then takes back everything and says, "Oh, I never hated Cody, never disliked him. This was all a test. This was all to see if you had what it takes to carry this company into the future." And then everybody will be like, "Oh, Cena was just testing Cody. It's a dream sequence. None of this is real. It's all washed away." But I wouldn't do that either. I mean, go ahead, commit to the bit, but commit to something that you can turn later on. WG Phil says, "I don't get the point of turning him heel knowing he won't be around till Mania. He's supposed to be coming back on the 17th, whenever that is. I have no idea. The 17th is 10 days from now. What is that, Smackdown?" Top Dog says, "What's your thoughts on people advocating for him to bring back the thug gimmick?" I already talked about that. I think it's stupid. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't turn back time. If you're going to go through all of this, you got to do something new. You got to do something different. You could probably tease basic thugonomics. You can maybe you want to use that as a theme song, but he can't be that character anymore. He can't do that gimmick anymore. He's got to do something different. And hopefully they're using this time off wisely and getting all their ducks in a row. Because once Cena starts really coming on TV and doing the promos and all that stuff, it needs to be on point. If there's any hesitation, it's going to fail. But they successfully got everybody's attention. Najee Savage said Stone Cold said he's be there for Mania if Cody needs him. Now, that would be interesting because Steve Austin hasn't shown up for anything lately. So if Austin wants to show up, then it's probably either he got a ridiculous amount of money offered to him to show up, or he's legitimately interested in the story. But I want everybody to stop being dorks about this whole thing, man. I do find it humorous that one of the things that I'm looking at, like on my tablet, is how people are making fun of the Evolve talent. Like these dudes are the fourth string WWE guys. Right? Making fun of them. I didn't see Mick Foley talking about this. Oh yeah, there was some kind of weird. They said John Cena was in the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest time between heel turns or something like that. It was like 20 some odd years. That can't be true. That can't be real. I know, like Andre the Giant, he was a babyface for a long time. But then again, he also kind of worked heel in Japan sometimes. So I don't know. But I know Andre was a pretty long stretch of never turning heel. But Rey Mysterio could do it. Rey Mysterio hasn't been a heel since 1999, maybe. So you're talking about a good 25 years, maybe 26 years. Interesting. Hezekiah Thomas says, as much as I would love for the WWE to run with this, it's almost certain the only for WrestleMania season as Cody beating him will turn him back babyface. If Cody beats Cena, I don't know what to do. I would be tempted to boycott because you've already set this thing up. You have to let it run. You gotta let it run. There's no time for half measures. You're gonna leave a lot of money on the table if Cena doesn't get the belt and run. You already got so much to set up. You already got the Punk story set up. As soon as the Cody one is over, Punk is right there. So you've already got that, and that's going to be money, no matter where you do it. Not going to do it immediately at Backlash, but what's after Backlash? Shit, is it is King Queen of the Ring? Yeah, like you got that, and I think that's in Saudi. Punk's not going to Saudi. I guess you could prepare for SummerSlam. Punk and Cena, and do sort of like hopefully maybe an inversion of their 2012 story. Like you have a lot of options. 2011 story. You got a lot of options there. With Cena as a heel, you opened up a lot of opportunities. They need to go ahead and bite. If you're gonna do it, do it. There's no point in half measures. Vocal King says, speaking of the Cena heel turn, I feel Raw, NXT, and even Dynamite failed to take advantage of the hype it generates. Well, Raw tried to, because they had all the talent, and they've had on the internet people reacting as if it's a seismic shift in wrestling, because it is. You haven't seen anything like this literally in a full generation, a full 30 years, all right? Because Bruno never turned heel. All right. Bruno was a babyface from the 60s till he died. Okay. He died in 2012 or something like that. And he was a babyface the entire time. But Hogan had that turn. Bob Backlund was a babyface from 1972 or 3 or something like that. And he was champion for 5 years in the WWF. That was up until from 1978 to 1983. Then he lost the belt. He was still a babyface, but he was gone. Then he turned heel in 1994. All right. So you have this generational babyface that turned heel. This almost never fucking happens. So for that reason alone, it's a pretty big shift in wrestling. There's still, some guys that never turn heel, like the Ultimate Warrior. He was never a heel. But you wouldn't be able to know that. You wouldn't be able to tell that. But you have to, having something like this is rare, and it's hard to monetize it because most people have no idea what to do with something like this. Which is why I'm not surprised, Cena's not being on TV. You need to get your ducks in a row. When he shows up, that entire show needs to be about him and what he's doing. And if they were smart, they would do something similar to what Vince did when they did the no confidence thing with Triple H. Is that Cena would be in the ring, and then all the wrestlers will surround the ring and stare at him, and he should just cut them down one at a time. Do a Vince McMahon style promo where he should talk about how he stepped up with ruthless aggression and nobody stepped up behind him. He has to come back and carry the ball because blah, 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 or whatever the case is going to be. And that be like the rallying cry for the next generation. Because Vince is not there to do it, so somebody's got to do it. The Rock wants to be the final boss. And Triple H, man, who the fuck cares about Triple H, man? He's babying everybody. So it's got to be Cena. If he's going to be bad dad Cena, he got to go ahead and be bad dad Cena and call out the locker room for being entitled to being soft and everything. Just put Undertaker words in John Cena's mouth. That's what I would do. Jalalaro, oh boy, Ursa says, I say let Cena stay heel until he's defeated for the title he's clearly going to win. Yeah, I mean, it's common sense. And then it also makes sense for him to win because Jey Uso is definitely going to win. So you're going to have your babyface champion. It's just going to be Jey on Raw. And Cena's going to be your heel champion on SmackDown. He won't be around much because he's still going to have all his outside commitments. But you need to go ahead and commit to this. And then you also have to commit to Cody being the guy who takes the belt from him. So that means no matter how good the storyline is with Punk or whoever else they have him work with, you got to maintain course and say, we can't give that guy the belt. And that means if he works with LA Knight or whoever, and that guy gets super over and the feud gets super hot and everybody's going to, because it's the exact same thing happened with Roman Reigns, right? And Roman had the belt all that time. He had a couple of times where he got the opponent so hot that the dirt sheets and everybody was like, give him the belt, give it the belt now. And then they had to resist it. And they're going to have to resist it at some point, especially if this thing is booked correctly. I can tell you, people are going to want Punk to beat Cena for the belt, especially if they book it correctly. They're going to have to resist it, and Punk's going to have to do the fucking job. All right? That's the only way around. It's the only way it's going to work. You have to resist Cody wrestling Cena a bunch of times. They have this one match, and then maybe one more, at some point in time later in the year, and then the final one, which Cody wins. The only good one here says heel Cena needs to win because he can make a popular faction like the NWO, help create new stars off of it. Cody has failed at doing that so far. Well, part of that is because Cody doesn't have a stable. Cena, I don't know if that's going to work for him, because Cena he's a standalone character. Can he carry other people with him? I suppose he could, but I wouldn't try to complicate the thing too much. He's already in league with The Rock, and we don't know if The Rock is still in league with Solo and Jacob and all those guys. We don't know, but I wouldn't complicate it too much. I think Cena can stand on his own as a heel. It's going to be using Cena to heat up baby faces. That's really what's going to be the goal here. So if you're smart and you're a babyface, you should want to get on SmackDown, because as soon as Cena gets the belt, that's going to be the red hot poker for you to be trying to get very, very close to that, just to get that rub. Otherwise, good luck wrestling Gunther on Raw. So no reaction, because that's what's going to happen. Hezekiah Thomas says, I don't see how any other companies can cash in on this. I'm sorry, but others can't do anything but carry on as normal. Well, I saw Dynamite, well, AEW, call them Dynamite. They're already buying TV time on NXT. They had a commercial running during NXT. So that might be the best way to get attention, is to have a commercial placed on Netflix or something, a commercial placed on USA. They don't have anything, because none of their guys are hot like this. They don't have anything to counter this. Like, there's not much they can do. They're in a tough situation right now. The closest thing they got, and just being honest, I'm not saying that I like this guy, but it's Hangman. Like, if Hangman just beat Moxley on a random Dynamite, that might actually energize the AEW audience. But I don't think they don't have the balls to do anything like that. They would never do anything like that. I don't know why they wouldn't, because the Moxley thing clearly has failed. They should be trying to abort mission on that shit as soon as possible. WWE TNA Full says Rock is simultaneously helping and hurting this program. His arrival gave Mania some juice, but then he wants to be a philosopher at Scrums. Is the final boss a heel or a face? What is the final boss? Right. He wants to try to break down like you're a YN or something. Final boss. Let me break it down to you. Very simple. Not sure what he is. He's an entity, natural disaster, earthquake, typhoon, final boss. You're like, get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? I try my best to not pay attention to The Rock, anything that he's doing that is not on television, because that makes me not like him. Whenever I see him doing weird stuff on TikTok or whatever, I just be like, yeah, he can be a bit much. He can be a bit much. Crossface Ray says, my thing is, what do you do after Cena wins the title? I think after he wins the title, he needs to do something similar to what JBL did. That's what I mean by he needs to have like a State of the Union address, where after he got the belt, he needs to rip the balls off the locker room, and then there needs to be somebody from the locker room who stands up to get in his face, similar to what he did to Kurt Angle. You need to start mirroring things, right? So some young baby face needs to get in John Cena's face and say, not ruthless aggression, but something similar to stamp what this new generation is all about and what they're going to do. And that can be the guy that's going to fight Cena next. I would suggest Braun Breaker, but he's not a baby face or a heel. He attacks people and then he doesn't. Then he attacks people, then he doesn't, But somebody like that, or Oba Femi, or somebody on that level, getting in John Cena's face, and that could be the backlash match, is the guy who stepped up when John Cena called out the locker room, and he's going to be the guy that's going to step up. That could be fun. That could be the right thing to do. But I definitely think that the John Cena character, he needs to fully take on the Vince McMahon role. And Vince McMahon was the one who was the standard bearer, who set the ship, the direction that the company is going. He has to be that guy. I think that if you're going to turn John Cena heel, that should be the character. That should be the direction that they go in terms of getting him to right the ship, But Triple H has got to have creativity. He's got to have vision. And I don't see that at this point. So I don't know, man. Top Dog says, thoughts on WWE having Hollywood Hogan manage Rock and heel Cena to generate heat. If Hogan is a top tier leech, but I don't think they'll let him get away with that. I don't think The Rock and Cena will let him get away with that. They're not gonna let him hijack their shit. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Hezekiah says the real question is, who do they give heel Cena last match to? Cody. Cody beats him. He turns babyface afterwards. I think, and you know what? This would be a perfect synergy. Cody beats Cena. Cena offers the handshake. Cody reluctantly gives it. Cena hugs him for real. Thanks him for the opportunity. Thanks everybody else. Waves goodbye. He takes off his gym shoes to leave him in the ring. And then he gets an RKO out of nowhere. And then he gets kicked in the head. And then his last match is against Randy Orton. And Randy Orton is the heel. Because then from that point, you can start working the Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes story. Because that's what I thought was the match this year, was Randy and Cody. So you give John Cena's final match to Randy. He can go into the final match as a babyface. Randy as a heel. Randy can win the final match, retires John Cena. Now he's got the momentum to go into like the Royal Rumble. I probably wouldn't have him win the Royal Rumble, maybe have him win the Elimination Chamber. Cody, Randy, WrestleMania next year. Society Review says the reason I call it the gaslight era because people are now praising WWE for doing things that they don't make any sense simply because it was unpredictable. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like unpredictability still has to work into your story. Um, the John Cena thing literally came out of nowhere. Now there was I forget who said it. Maybe it was who was it Meltzer who says that John Cena was the second option because they legitimately wanted Cody to turn heel. Uh, I wouldn't buy that. You know, Triple H is not a fool, right? Like he's not a fool, and Cody Rhodes, whether you like him or not, is a top babyface right now. Turning them heel with no opponent, it just seems dumb. Now, if the plan was for John Cena to win, then if Cody would have turned heel, he would have lost to Cena anyway. Then that would have ruined Cody's heel turn. So I don't buy that. To me, it seemed like they fell into this and it just happened to work. But and usually when you have long-term character narratives, like with John Cena in the last couple of years with him losing a lot, this fits his character narrative. It fits Punk's character narrative. It's fitting into Cody's. It just seemed like they fell onto something that was, oh yeah, this works for everybody. Let's do that. And that's the right way to go. But I could tell that this wasn't planned from the beginning. You know, I could just tell it wasn't planned from the beginning. It may have been planned after the Royal Rumble or right before it. Once they decided it was going to make Jey Uso the winner of the Royal Rumble, that might have been when they came up with it. But I can tell you that it hasn't been like 2 or 3 years. It wasn't like last year when they set up Cody to win the belt. Oh well, we're going to turn John Cena heel next year. I can almost guarantee you they didn't come up with that idea at that point. Crossface Ray says if he brings back the thug gimmick, any hesitation would look ridiculous. This 50-year-old man rapping about it with a bald spot. A lot of people are not thinking. Wearing jeans and jerseys, and a lot of people are not thinking. They're not really considering how ridiculous John Cena will look. Remember, I think he did do a Thugonomics skit at WrestleMania recently, didn't he? It was within the last few years. He came out to the basic Thugonomics and he had the hat turned back and all that. But he was like 44 or 45. He looked weird, you know? I think he needs to go ahead and be Hollywood John, comes out in a suit, preferably one that looks like an adult would wear and not something he looks like he usually would wear. And he needs to be Vince McMahon. It needs to be his gimmick. You know, he's got to do what other people aren't willing to do, cut the balls off of his competition, all of the stuff from the previous generation to right the ship. He needs to bring it on out and be the physical manifestation of my era is over. The next era is here. Who are these guys? What are they going to do? Blah 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 blah. And you gotta treat Roman like an aberration, like he didn't really happen. As you move to the next generation, because Roman already did his part. He carried the ball for 4 years and dropped the belt to Cody like he was supposed to. That was the right decision. Now he's kind of floating in the wind. You know, if you can squeeze in a Roman and John Cena match, that might be grand. You know, but where would you do it? And is Roman willing to do the job for Cena? He's never had to lose to him before. Maybe give him do one of them now. Uh, Hezekiah says black jorts for the ring attire and black suit for the leather jacket for promo wear. No jorts. No jorts at all. No jorts. I want different ring gear for John Cena too. Boots, knee pads. You know, he's gonna look so strange. Maybe he will wrestle in jorts. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't. Nah, I wouldn't do that. It's gonna look weird. Like when he really presents the full character with it's got to be a new theme song, new presentation. It's gonna be interesting, you know. And there's some anticipation building there for that. Liam Hutton says, truly think that the easier and more believable route is Cody heel turn. Based on the hunger to get the belt and finish the story, holding the belt by any means necessary seems to be in his arc. Later, not right now though. Right now they're still establishing him. You know, he had the year-long title run, which was kind of a flop because Triple H can't book for shit. So he didn't really have any hot heels to work with. So his whole run was basically a flop. Now he's going to lose the belt to Cena in the hottest angle he's ever going to be a part of. You know, even though he really benefited from the bloodline thing. And I didn't think it could get bigger than that. They still do have one card to play. And that is the inevitable and seemingly very necessary fuck what The Rock is talking about. Cody Rhodes has to wrestle The Rock. That has to happen. The Rock when it kicks the can down the road. Oh, we don't need to have a match. I don't see why do you feel that way? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Why do you feel like you don't have to work? You know, you got to go out there and got to do the job to the kid, man. You've been beating him up and taunting him for 2 fucking years. You gotta have a match with him, and you pinned him already. So now you gotta have a match, and you gotta do the job. So maybe Randy doesn't get that match next year after all. Maybe we gotta give it to The Rock. But Cena's gonna be gone next year, and who knows? Roman's already on a diminished capacity, so we're in diminished supply of Roman Reigns. So we really only got, once Cena's gone, you only got 2 left, Punk and Orton. So maybe they can talk Punk into staying around for 3 years or something like that. I don't know. If his body can hold up, we'll see. WG Fields says, I wonder if Cena is actually retiring in 2025. This storyline can't last a year. If he's barely appearing, he has 33 dates left. Well, how many more months is that? That's more than, well, you count pay-per-views as dates, and maybe SmackDowns or Raws as separate dates. He could probably nail those 33 in the next 6 months. He could probably nail those. The thing is, he said he was retiring. Wrestlers never really fully retire anyway. So something tells me it's going to be part work with that. Like, he might wrestle next year at WrestleMania, but I don't think he's going to wrestle like anymore after that. I think like this is his last full-time run. He may wrestle like a tag team partner or something like that afterwards. Liam Hutton says Cena's turn was certainly a shock and a bigger headline grabber, but it is an awkward spot to turn Cena back face again before his run is up. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the art. You know, sometimes the artistic element of it is knowing that it's going to end. You know, Cena is not a guy that you're going to have him retire as a heel. That's not going to work. That's not going to happen. The moment everybody knows it's his last match, he's going to get a standing ovation or something like that. So turn him face, you know, and let him work his last match as a babyface. That's probably the best option you got. But he needs to have the heel title run though, because you've already done it, you know. So Bruno died in 2018. Oh shit, I thought he died sooner than that. I thought he died sooner than that. Hezekiah says heel Cena telling Cena Punk he was always a B+ player and Cena is a bigger star than Punk will ever be as a heel will actually be quite fun to see. Yeah, like Cena taking the gloves off on Phillip would be great television. I'm willing to buy a ticket for that. I don't care what building it's in, because Cena's been taking a lot of shots from Punk, and he's been doing that for a long time. He's been pretty restrained too. I think as a heel, Cena can start cutting into people like he's known to do. Like he really leveled Austin Theory a couple of years ago. You know, Mike Tyson punched out that fucking kid's career. He probably got a couple in the chamber for Punk, and Punk has earned it. So I can't wait for heel Cena to cut into Punk, especially once Punk started pulling some bullshit. Can't wait for that. That ought to be fun. I'm already looking forward to that. I don't know what him and Cody are going to be able to get together because Cody's whole thing is sympathy, which is necessary for a babyface, but he's very dramatic. That's Cody's bread and butter. He wants to have a slow, dramatic back and forth with what Cena is going to lead to a fiery "fight me now" kind of thing. But I'm actually interested in how he's going to react to this thing too. Maybe they'll have Cody come out on SmackDown and address the John Cena heel turn, and he's of course going to say Cena was his childhood hero, even though that's not true. How he was inspired by John Cena, which is partially true. Cena always looked to help everybody, which is partially true. But there's always going to be some stuff there that Cena, for Cody to work through. And Cena's not going to be there personally, I don't think. But they're probably going to let Cody come out and say something Friday and address the big heel turn and talk about what he thinks. Because we're already asking Jey Uso and AJ Styles. Shit. Local King says, I will call Cena heel turn wrestling final card. If it fails, then wrestling is screw it and they deserve it. It's going to be hard to botch this. It legitimately will be hard. Something this hot that got so much interest, it's going to be you're going to have to be very incompetent to ruin this. You're going to have to be very incompetent to ruin this. Like the interest for WrestleMania went from -50 to 100 plus 150, literally in one night. So it saved WrestleMania, if we're being honest, because people were less than enthused by the whole Jey Uso thing. So this is pretty much saving the event. It's carrying the event. And it's going to be hard for them to screw this up. So I don't think that they will, but it'll be interesting watching them try. How you doing, X9? Says, would be fire as shit if Cena went to AEW for lulls and smart tears. He should cut a promo on AEW. That would be great. And that might be the only way they can get some interest off this thing is if Cena mentions them, which he definitely won't. The only good one here says they was out there wanting Sammy and KO to beat Roman for the belt. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when you're that good, when you're that hot, and you get the babyface over to that point that people want like Drew McIntyre and Riddle to beat you for the belt, you're like, wait a second. Okay, this thing is working. Cena can do that. Cena can do that. The issue is going to be, are they going to pick the right baby faces that's going to wrestle him? I think you need to have a mixture. I think you need to be mostly younger guys, but a mixture of veterans and guys on the upswing. Start with guys who are on the upswing. Start with like your Braun Breakers, your Obas. I'm using Oba Famous as kind of like a stand-in for somebody else who I can't think of right now. And let those guys, like a Ilya Dragunov or something like that. And then you let those guys get in there with Cena to test their mettle, lose, of course. And then it progressively gets more difficult. More veteran guys, your AJ Styles, your CM Punks, your Sami Zayns. Because remember, Sami Zayn had a really good match with John Cena on what was the U.S. Championship thing. They can run that back. Sami is an over. Let's put main event in quotations. Main event babyface. He could run a really good match with John. There's a lot of people you could put in there with John Cena. It could, it could give them a big rub and get a lot of heat on what they're doing and their stories and stuff. You just gotta commit to it and not be a dork. He says, I will say, Mongo, this Cena heel turn has transcended the mainstream. It's broken into the mainstream, that's for sure. As much as ESPN is a dying brand, they're talking about it on there. Comedy Central is a dying brand, they're talking about it on there. It's burning up the internet. There's a lot of people talking about this angle. You have to be trying hard to fuck this up. The only thing they're going to do is bore people to WrestleMania, because that's what Triple H is going to do. He's already got them, right? That's going to be his view. I already got you. You want to see John Cena as a heel at WrestleMania? Got you. Now, who cares about the rest of this shit? Like all these Smackdowns and Raws from now till then are going to be the big questions. What's going to be on the rest of this show? What is Roman going to do? What is Rollins going to do, if anybody gives a fuck? What is Punk going to do? What's this thing with Jade Cargill? The various different championships and everything. Because we've already, everybody who's going to be locked in for WrestleMania is already locked in. They've already probably sold all the tickets they're going to sell. If the John Cena heel turn didn't spike ticket sales, they've already sold all the tickets they're going to sell. And now he's going to take a knee until WrestleMania. So hopefully he doesn't. It looked on Raw like he wants to try something, wants to try different things. That's why Io Sky won the title, is he just wants to try something different. I wouldn't have done that personally, because I think you screwed up some money with Bianca and Rhea one-on-one. But he's very online, that Triple H. He knows that everybody was kind of hemming and hawing about WrestleMania. And now he's like, okay, I got you now. All it took was for me to play my John Cena trump card, and now I got you. All right, so now you got us. What about the rest of this show? You got a 2-night show to book. And unless Cena's working back-to-back nights, you got to sell a night one, okay? You got to sell us everybody on night one. Well, King says if Cena gets cheered, they should have him attack R-Truth. I'm thinking the R-Truth angle is necessary, because I think most people realize that those characters are linked in a way that they shouldn't be linked. And I think, again, if Cena was doing a State of the Union address, that could be one of the things he could address, is how R-Truth doesn't take anything seriously. He's 10 years older than John Cena, and saying that he's his childhood hero and all that kind of stuff. That stuff could be interesting, Adam Page is a crybaby bit. Well, you already know that. The only good one here says the safe booking crap is what kills companies. It never draws to go the safe route. I knew it was always going to be Cena versus Cody. If not, then I knew Triple H was not fit to run the show, but he did it. Yeah, I mean, it was common sense. It is going to be Cena versus Cody, which makes more sense because it's Cena's last WrestleMania, or it's going to be Punk versus Cody. Those were your only two realistic options. How we didn't get both of them in the main event, where basically one of them wrestling Gunther, the other one wrestling Cody, would have made a lot more sense. But they tried to pay off the Jey Uso stuff. My thing is, Jey Uso is the kind of guy that you fatten him up for the slaughter. So you're going to give him the belt. Who's going to beat him for it? My answer, Gunther. They're basically going to do the reverse. Cena's going to beat Cody, carry the belt for a while. Cody's going to beat him, take it back. Jey Uso is probably going to beat Gunther, be super over as a babyface for a while, and then they're going to sacrifice all of that to Gunther, so that Gunther will be more established. The problem with that is Gunther has beaten Jey Uso multiple times already. If somebody else was to come along and beat Jey, that could solidify them as a top-level heel. But I don't know who that could be, because Triple H doesn't seem to put a lot of effort into making other people. So he'll probably have it be Shinsuke Nakamura or something, because that's what he thinks of it. Ridiculous. He said you're hearing a lot of normies talking about wrestling lately. I've seen a lot of normies talk about wrestling, believe it or not. And that's the thing about the internet. This whole thing has really gotten people talking. and that's what it's supposed to be about. And they did it without, you know, I don't want to say they didn't sacrifice anything, but they got people talking. They broke the glass in case of emergency, so they got people talking. Ego Robot Entertainment said The Rock did an SNL skit in which they thought it was funny to make him a professor that created robots that did weird stuff to kids. I had to censor it, but have you seen that? Absolutely. I said The Rock is a weirdo. Now, Cena's a weirdo too. Okay, that's the thing. Like, they have that Hollywood shit in common. Now, Cena hasn't gone as far as The Rock, because The Rock has, you know, they both have worn skirts and dressed like women and were, you know, all that kind of stuff. Cena did that whole shit where he showed up at, what was it, the Oscars naked or something like that. If I was Cody, that would be the first thing I would say is like, I don't want to be in y'all weird cult. You know, he would have to go full almost MAGA and be like, all you Epstein Island weirdos, all you Diddy guys who show up to award shows naked and wear skirts, and I don't want to be part of your club. You know, but he'll never do that because that'll turn him heel to a certain fan base. So he ain't gonna do that. AJ3 says if Triple H had any balls to recreate what Vince did back in 2002 when Cena faced Kurt Angle and a star was born. That's what I'm saying. He needs to do that. He needs to have a guy. It needs to be Braun Breaker, who after Cena cuts into the locker room, calls everybody soft or pussies or whatever, talks about how he has to carry the company at 50 years old because these guys are too lazy, too entitled, they don't have the work ethic, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. He's just get in the ring and stand toe-to-toe with John Cena and slap him in the face or something. He needs to parallel that moment. That's a way of Cena passing the torch without actually losing, but showing that Cena has come full circle. Yeah, you know, now he's an institution, and he's the guy challenging the young boys to step up. You know, I'm interested in that. I mean, they can't play that John Cena broke my heart shit for a month. You know, that can work for like 2 or 3 weeks, but eventually we got to get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. And the meat and potatoes of it is Cena has to set up mission statement, why he did this, why he's doing this, why it's important, and then he's got to have the run. Once he has the run and the run's over, it has to mirror the beginning, meaning somebody had to step up, take that spot, earned it, worked, won John Cena's respect or whatever the case may be, shook his hand, walked off with the belt, and now Cena can be free to be a babyface again. The Rock has always been a weirdo, absolutely, and I'm not that's why I'm not a huge fan. Liam Hutton says, "Yeah, what was all this Rock promo stuff all over the chamber? PLE acting like a babyface in the video package, and then final boss in the ring. Are we actively breaking kayfabe now, or what?" I don't think The Rock cares. Again, once Vince left, the guardrails came off, bro. The guardrails came off because who the fuck is the boss? Who's the boss? Not Triple H. He ain't the boss. The Rock is the boss, essentially. So who's going to tell him what he's doing is wrong? Who's going to tell him to stop doing what he's doing? Nobody. The guardrails are off. The Rock is doing whatever he wants at this point. The only person who could probably give him any direction was Vince. I don't think Ari Emanuel and Nick Khan is going to be telling The Rock he's overdoing it. No, they're not going to do that at all. They're going to be happy he even showed up. But he's probably keeping them abreast of what he's going to do because I doubt he has to go through Triple H. But I know Triple H still has to have some element, some hand in it because, you know, it is creative. But that's like last year where The Rock basically says, I went to Ari, I went to Nick. I can see him just doing the same thing again. I got an idea. I'm gonna go to somebody other than Triple H. You know who the creative guy. I'm gonna go to somebody other than him to get creative put on TV. JS says Triple H's booking is so bad that you can't pick anyone for that role. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Virgo Rebel Penguin, hello, baby. The M Studios says, hey guys, hope you guys are doing well. Yep. Do I think the Wyatt Six are dead? Well, they should have been dead a year and a half ago. I mean, a bunch of fucking jabronis got put together in a tribute band. This shit was never going to work anyway. M Studio says, I feel like Cena's heel turn at best would be great, but not a game changer like Hogan joining the NWO. I don't think it has to be. I think one of the many things that Hogan turning heel did is it was a symbol of a new direction, right? It was WCW was going in a different direction. Holy shit, what are they going to do now, right? We're moving away from Dungeon of Doom and all that other corny shit they were doing. We're doing something else, right? Cena's heel turn represents that exact same thing. WWE is going in a different direction. We're not going back, you know. We've turned our top all-time babyface heel, which is something we never do. Never do it. Which is why I wasn't a big fan of it, because I'm like, Bruno never had to turn heel. You know, Warrior never had to turn heel. Hogan never turned heel in WWF. You know, even when he came back, they turned him babyface almost immediately. You know, so you know, Roman was the aberration. You know, the guy who was the top guy who ended up turning heel. That was the aberration. That's what made Roman stand out. He was they like to call him failed aces, but he's not a failed ace. He was successful. He was just more successful as a heel. John Cena wasn't a failed ace. You know, he was just more successful than everybody else. The issue is going to be here that now that they've changed him, now they've turned it, they're telling everybody, we're turning the corner. You thought it was a new regime 2 years ago or 3 years ago when Triple H took over. Now, 100% new. A lot of the guys that, you know, that were there before are gone now. A lot of the talent are gone now. A lot of your favorites are old now. We're going in a different direction. This is going to symbolize that. And in 15 years, people will recognize it. Because when I was 12, I didn't know that's what Hulk Hogan turning heel was all about. I thought it was just a cool angle. And it took a long time for me to recognize it was a complete and total seismic narrative shift for every company that was involved. Everybody had to change once Hogan turned heel. Because everything did change. Hulkamania was no more. So everybody had to act accordingly. I'm not so sure John Cena is going to have that kind of impact, because WWE and AEW do not go head to head. All right. It was different when they were going head to head. It was different when they were close in terms of attendance and TV ratings and stuff like that. That's not the case now. AEW is so far behind now that, and they're in a rebuilding year anyway. AEW is so far behind, and they're rebuilding. They need a new roster. They're running smaller buildings than they were before. I mean, they got a pay-per-view coming up. They're paying guys $3 million a year or whatever to have less than 10,000 people in the building. And it might be another 2 or 3 years before they can pick back up. All right. They're on a downslide. I wouldn't be too concerned about them. But the narrative shift for WWE in general is important. I got fingerprints all over this damn tablet. Jesus, I can't see a damn thing. The only good one here says, but what would his gear be? People say singlet, but he would look like Michael Cole in a singlet. That's the thing. Like, I wonder if they actually put some thought into that. John Cena will look ridiculous still sticking to the jean short joints. Yeah, he would look ridiculous. I think he should cut his hair too. Not shave it bald, but like with the low cut, he would not look as bald. He wouldn't look as bald from behind. I think he needs to come out like he normally dresses. Like he dresses in a suit now. Let him wear a suit on TV. The wrestling gear is what's going to be interesting. Because is he going to go back to tights? That's going to be interesting. that's going to be interesting. Yeah, he doesn't age well at all. Roman low key made few star guys. Yeah, it wasn't his job though. When you're the top guy, it's not your job to make people. It's your job to have guys fed to you. That's not his job. His job ain't to make nobody. That's the problem. Like a lot of people think Roman was supposed to go out there and get guys over. It's like no, guys are supposed to get built up to be fed to Roman. That was his job, was to beat people, and he did that convincingly, and he did a good job of it. You know, the Usos and Sammy and they did a great job making people. That was their job. They were the gatekeepers that was about building people up. It was never Roman's job. It's never been Roman's job to make anybody. Except that one time. He had to do the job for Cody. That was it. That's it. He did it. They never asked him to make anybody else. And when you're John Cena, during John Cena's entire run, he's never supposed to be making people. For what? Now he did. You know, he successfully put Rob Van Dam over, even though Rob Van Dam was already over. He pretty much made Danielson and Punk, if we're being honest, even though Punk was a world champion before that. And so was Danielson, but he pretty much skyrocketed those guys to the main event. But that really wasn't his job. You know? It wasn't his job to go out there and make guys. Like, no. They're not even supposed to be in the ring with most of these dudes, if we're being honest. And they need to really kind of reconsider that what the job of a top guy is. It's not a top guy's job to make you, dog. It is not. You work to get to the top guy, and then if you win, then probably because the promoter looks and sees you can make some money. But 9 times out of 10, your job is going to be to lose, and that's okay. Everybody knows that. They should know that. He said Roman also has no problem with jobbing to anyone. He said he would do even job to Punk if it made sense. Roman cares more about money and his family's booking. Yeah, I mean, he's at a point where he's untouchable, so it don't matter. And I think Cena's at that same point where all the jobs Cena did that's why he didn't work. You know, when he lost to Solo and he lost to Austin Theory, it didn't work because that wasn't his job. Nobody wanted to see that shit. Nobody wanted to see John Cena lose to these fucking guys. You know, so it didn't work. And plus, also, it proves what I said before. Just because you can book somebody to go over don't mean anything. It's all about the other creative elements. What do you do after that? What do you do before that? Were they over before that? Because sometimes they aren't. You know, they're not over. And you need to consider that. So there's a lot going on up there. X9 says in a Chris Van Vliet interview, Cena said he had a heel theme in the vault from 2012-ish. Wonder if that's going to be if you could easily redo lyrics to fit this theme. Well, it depends on what he's going to do. I would go with the Bad Man from his theme song, from his debut album. I think it's already set. I wouldn't have a Def Rebel theme. They suck and they're going to ruin everything. John Cena should do capri shorts. Capris are for women. No. So Cena went the hardest on Roman out of everyone. That's when I discovered that heel Cena without being heel, and it didn't make him intimidating. I don't think Cena needs to be intimidating. He needs to humiliate people though. I put some Blue Star ointment on this bump on my forehead, and the middle of my damn forehead is on fire. Ooh, not a fan. Do not recommend. Pick Six Ringo says Raw viewership is dropping every week. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. What did they do on Raw? Io Sky won the title. Okay, what else? That's it. Every week, you just ask yourself, you sat and watched 2.5 hours of this show. What happened? Virtually nothing happened. Nothing. Cena and, well, I'm sorry, Punk and Rollins, they fought again. They brawled. We've seen that already. You've seen these guys have a match already. Like, and this is what I mean when I do reviews and I say nothing happened on the show. It doesn't literally mean the show did not occur. It means there's nothing on the show worth talking about. There's nothing that if you missed it, you're going to be like, damn, I should have seen that. And that's why Meltzer felt comfortable going to Collision rather than watching Elimination Chamber, because he figured there's nothing going to happen on this show. That's why so many people feel comfortable not watching the shows. They're like, ain't nothing going to happen. Either that or they got a bunch of people who just don't care about angles. They only care about his wrestling matches. Society Review says it's hilarious that some people think that if Punk versus Rollins versus Reigns does happen, that there was any chance it doesn't main event night one. Who wants to see Rhea versus Sky versus Belair? It's certainly, if that triple threat match is going to happen, it's certainly going to main event night one. I don't want that though. I want Punk versus Roman personally. So hopefully CM Punk, perform surgery on Seth Rollins and we don't have to see him for a while. But they're not going to keep Rollins off of WrestleMania, so he might end up as a special guest referee or some silly shit like that. But I don't want that. I don't know. But it's certainly going to main event night one. Jey Uso not main event in night one. He's going to be in a third match probably. And that's just real. It might be in a co-main event. He might go on third, depending on how many matches on the show. Can Io cut a promo? She doesn't speak good English. Her English is mid at most. I saw somebody ask me about Evolution 2 because that conversation has come up. I saw that. I saw that they're talking about Evolution. Somebody said it's going to happen later this year. I think they said July, September, or something like that. I'm not buying into none of that shit until it actually happens. All right. Do I think it should happen? They're at the point now where even if the show flops, so what? They make so much money off the Netflix thing. They're gonna make so much money with the Royal Rumble being in Saudi Arabia next year. They make so much money guaranteed. It's not gonna cost them a goddamn thing to throw one show in the garbage. Just to shut these fans up. The only issue is gonna be once they do it twice, they're going to want it every year, essentially. And they make so much money they can burn it. They can do a 5 or 6 match women's card. Why not? I mean, the question is people actually going to watch it? Is anybody going to buy a ticket to that shit? You're going to have to run it in an NXT arena in order to get people to watch it. But it ain't gonna bankrupt the company or nothing like that. I can tell you that much. So JS says Triple H gave up almost 50 hours of boring television this year just to tell us to be more patient at the press conference, and then give you more boring television afterwards. It's like, oh yeah, you really earned this John Cena heel turn. Now go back to reading your bullshit books. Like, no, brother, what are you doing? You're supposed to be on the road. What are you doing? WWE do be making something that can be so badass, just so corny, vanilla, and that's out of touch. That's a common problem in modern WWE. A part of it is because they want to stay a family-friendly company, and they should. They really should. One of my issues is I don't like the neck beards getting like neck beards. You have your stuff. You got AEW. You got all the indies in the world. Leave the normies their WWE. You know, that's all we're asking. Leave the normies WWE because at least it's different. Keep your Ring of Honors and your AEWs. Do whatever you want over there, right? Just larger than life, mainstream, somewhat mainstream, semi-mainstream, let's say, pro wrestling and WWE. Let's do that over here. You take your 500-degree, I'm going to run a wrestling show in a rock venue, in a theater. You know, like when I go to GCW shows, it's in a goddamn, it's so hot in there. Even when it's cold outside, it's hot inside. And it's packed. It's like sardines in that joint. Hezekiah says, not gonna lie, it was weird because I love dark comedy. The SNL skit was funny to me. Those 1950s golden era villain coming into contact with genuine evil is funny. I never saw the whole thing. I only saw the Rock's part. Woka King says maybe the reason Roman doesn't appear is that he failed to politic Jey Uso into the main event of WrestleMania. I don't think so. Jey won the Royal Rumble. Like, he's successful. He's not gonna get him in the main event. He'll get him the belt though, and that's better than Jey probably would have gotten on his own. I can tell you that much. WG feels I kind of wish they wait on Bianca versus Rhea for 42. So what? Because then, what you gonna do with EO then? She gonna be on the other show? Because you're gonna end up in the same problem. You're gonna end up with the same problem. Okay, so I want to end with I guess Will Ospreay. He went to yapping with Chris Van Vliet, and I want to address some of the things he said before we get out of here. So I'm probably not going to do a video tonight. I'm probably not going to do anything else until Monday, if we're being honest. It depends. He's still talking about Triple H's comment, which has got to be the most important thing that happened to him since he came to this country, for God's sake. He's still talking about it. Bro, get over it. I had it up. I had it booted up, but it cut off. JS says, I saw Danny Palmer do a frog splash at the Evolve show with no knee pads. She's amazing. I don't know why she was dressed the way she was, but it was humorous. I noticed that a lot of people hate her too, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but it's okay. Is this the clip I'm looking for?
So when we did that last interview, it was April of 2023, and we talked about 5-star matches at that time. You had 27 of them. You now have 47. 48. Is this wild to you?
No, I don't get it anymore. I
I love it now when I see it and I go, let's see what the internet says. And
so if you have anything less than 5, is it like, oh man, I
don't look at it. I do not look at it, but like it's just funny because then my Twitter comes up and I see all like the bot accounts and they go like, well, this is his 48th one, and I just think, fucking hell.
Well, I think it's because when
it's not.
When you break down the numbers, I wrote them down here. AEW has had 41 as a company, so you've had more than AEW. WWE has had 20, including NXT, so you've had more than double, and TNA has had 3, and you've had 2 of those.
This is not even the part I was looking for, but it's even funnier.
It's funny. It's funny because the thing is that it generally makes like no difference, right? Because that was a topic that happened a little while ago where they're going like 5-star matches don't pay bills.
Wait a second. This is the clip. Okay, this is exactly what I was looking for. All right, let's get to this.
All right. Debate with Bully Ray.
But I have paid for my dad's ass. I've paid for my mum's kitchen. So, like, they mean nothing, guys.
You even said when you were leaving.
Okay. I thought it was more to it than that. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I said that when we talked about the 5-star matches, that there are some guys who can survive off that shit, and he just happened to be one of them. I'm not interested in watching this entire thing, though. I don't want to listen to a wrestler talk for an hour unless they're talking about something important. You know, like wrestler just addressing random internet shit. Nah, who cares? Like, sometimes you gotta let stuff build up. Najee Savage said, I just saw an awful promo on Evolve. Everybody saw that awful promo. It's the swipe right guys. It was the shits. Nobody. The thing is, Evolve is literally the 4th tier WWE promo. That shit was so bad. It was awful. It was the shits. But they're indie wrestlers. They're not big superstars, man. They don't know how to do this shit yet. You know? They don't know how to do that stuff. It was bad, but so was Harley Cameron's promo on Collision. That animated promo she did, that was bad too. And that was on AEW's 2nd tier show. I didn't bully it though, because it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as Marina Shafir or Sammy Guevara. But those Evolve guys were just as bad as Sammy Guevara and Marina Shafir. It's just that they're so young and inexperienced that it wouldn't be fair for me to dump all over them. They're not, you know, they're I guess in training. I'm not sure how this Evolve thing works. I don't know. I think that these were ID guys though, so I'm not sure. So, but yeah, I know exactly what promo you're talking about. It was super cringe. I watched it when I watched the show. I was like, ugh, this is garbage. This is really garbage. JS says he went on Twitter, saw someone say Shayna Baszler should beat Jade Cargill and left. No, Triple H. It was probably Triple H burner account. Liam Hutton says, appreciate the videos. Keep up the good work. Your content is easier to watch than SmackDown and Raw these days. I appreciate that. Thank you all very much for stopping by. All right. So in closing, I just want to reiterate for people who weren't here at the beginning. One of my issues is that people are very upset with Travis Scott for punching Cody Rhodes in the ear. Some people just think that it's reckless, and it's true. It is reckless. Travis Scott is not properly trained. Travis Scott should not get the heat because everybody should have told him not to touch anybody. He was already drinking and smoking, which you could see on camera. But the heat shouldn't have fell on him. The heat should have fell on The Rock for being the ring general and letting it happen. Second, Cody Rhodes is supposed to be a big boy. Don't tell me John Cena punched him in the head 6 times, hit him in the head with the belt, and that didn't cause any injuries. And that it was really little old Travis Scott who popped him in the ear, and that caused the problem. Because now you're just making the business look bad. All right. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys later.